town
where he lives, and the police come up and confront him. They hold him at gunpoint. They threaten to kill him. They use obscenities. They force him down on the ground, and all of that. Why? Because he's exercising his Second Amendment rights. You know that we care a lot about Second Amendment rights on this program. I happen to practice the Second Amendment every single day because, like Mark Fiorino of Philadelphia, I also have a concealed carry permit, carry every single day. Mark joins us on the phone now. Mark, I'm glad that this story is now getting some national attention. Thank you very much for joining me on the program tonight.
Lars, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the time. And, I'm really glad that this is finally getting some attention, too, because the biggest problem that I was having for a while right after this occurred was that nobody really seemed very interested in it, and that really seemed appalling to me, to see that somebody who's literally just going about their business, following the law, doing what they're supposed to be doing, can be violated at gunpoint by the people in authority, and nobody's interested in that.
Now, by the way, we're going to explain to people why all of this ended up on tape, why you were carrying a pistol on your hip, why it was in plain view, why you had good reason to do that. But we should first make the point that everything you were doing that day was legal, right?
That is correct, and that's been established by state law in a number of places as well as some court decisions, and I'll get into some details with that here shortly. But basically, long story made impossibly short, I carry a firearm for my personal self-defense purposes, and I personally prefer to carry openly. I find it's more comfortable, it's easier for me to access, and there's the deterrent factor. And everybody has their opinion on open carry versus concealed carry. Don't want to get into that, but that's my personal choice, and
sure.
It's everybody else's personal choice.
Well, and the thing is, the First Amendment covering speech that I do every night, there are a lot of people who'd prefer that an awful lot of people who engage in free speech did it differently, that they did it more pleasantly, or they did it this. I mean, like all of the rights that are encompassed in the Bill of Rights, there are plenty of critics who might fault the way other people practice those rights. But at the end of the day, the Constitution didn't say, the Constitution wasn't written by a bunch of people who said, we're going to do this for people who engage in polite free speech or who use firearms for purposes that everyone agrees with. They wrote it to say individual American citizens and people in this country have a right to do things, and if their constitutional rights are violated, then there's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah, and that's I believe in that. I believe in that as well myself, and that's why I decide. Like I said, everybody has their own choice as far as if they even want to carry a firearm or even want to be around them, and then you have to choose how to carry it. Now, I personally choose to carry openly. Now, given I don't actually live in Philadelphia, Lars, I live out in Montgomery County, which is just up northwest of the city, but I do travel to the city on a pretty regular basis for personal reasons and for work. Now, when I go down and visit my mother, who lives in northeast Philadelphia, I'm sorry, I take my gun to the city. That's the way it's going to be. I've got my license to carry firearms, referred to as an LTCF, for those of you who like acronyms.
Yep.
And that makes open carry and concealed carry legal. The way it works in the state is that Philadelphia is the only city where you actually need to have this license to carry firearms in order to carry there. So after doing my research, getting my license, I go down to visit my mother. Now, I've had interactions with the Philadelphia Police Department before.
Yeah.
And on previous occasions, multiple times, they've told me that, one, they don't care what I consent to when I tell them that I don't want them searching me or taking my property. Number two, they don't know the law, and they established this repeatedly.
And by the way, Mark, let's play a little bit of the tape that you made the day that you were confronted by a police officer who actually I thought was unprofessional from the get-go by shouting, "Hey, Junior, what's up?" or words to that effect. Take a listen to the interaction that Mark had. This was, 2 months ago, Mark? Mark? Hey, Mark, are you there?
Hey, sorry about that. I
That's
cut out
all right.
for a second. Go ahead.
No problem. This was about 2 months ago, right? Or was it more like 3?
This was February 13th. It was Sunday. It was the day before Valentine's Day. It was about 52, 55 degrees out. It was nice and sunny. I figured, I don't need the jacket to walk 3 blocks.
Fair enough. Here's what happened.
Excuse me. Why are you pointing your gun at me, officer? Hey, Dandy. Why are you pointing your gun at me, officer? Hey, Dandy, firearm. Sir, you're threatening me with lethal force. You're pointing a weapon at me.
I don't know who you are. You got a gun on.
Would you like to see my license to carry firearms and my driver's license?
Back up. I got a guy with a gun on him. He's giving me a little trouble. I'm at Frankfurt Plaza right here.
Right here,
Put your
sir.
hands down.
I'm going to hand you my license to carry firearms.
All right, keep your hand right where it's at. Dude,
Okay.
I'm not telling you. I don't know who you are.
All right.
Get down on your knees.
Excuse me?
Get down on your knees. Just obey what I'm saying.
Sir, I'm more than happy to
You make
stand
your move,
here.
I'm gonna shoot you.
I am more than
Tell me
happy
right now.
to
Make
stand
your
here
move,
peacefully.
And you're going down.
Sir, I'm speaking to you peacefully.
Dude,
I'm not
telling you
moving.
right now, keep your hands right where you're at.
All right, so that's the officer. There was more to that, and we'll play some more of it. But, Mark, explain, first of all, why were you able to record all this?
Like I was beginning to say before you played that for us, I've had a couple of different interactions with Philadelphia police officers who have, on all occasions, told me that you don't have the ability to carry openly, and I know for a fact that that's not true. So by demonstrating I don't know if it's a willing ignorance of the law or what the case may be, on multiple occasions, I felt that I would need to protect myself. Now, on the other occasions, I had my voice recorder, but I just took it out and hit record and said, well, now I'm recording this conversation. On this particular day, I just kind of got it in my head that, I may not always have the opportunity to stop and reach into my pocket for something when they're stopping me because I have a firearm. So I just figured I would turn it on, go do my thing, go over to the store, buy my mirror for my car, come back, and if nothing happened, which is the way I'd like it to always go, I just delete the empty file. But, as it turned out, that's not the case. Unfortunately, I didn't have to worry about taking an opportunity to dig it out and press a button because I really hate to think what might have happened had I made a move for a pocket while he was pointing his Glock at me.
No doubt. Take a listen.
Is this necessary,
Yes,
sir?
it is. I don't know who you are. Why you have a gun on you?
Because I carry a firearm for self-defense purposes.
Okay, why you have it open carry?
Because that's the way I feel the most comfortable carrying.
Philadelphia, you don't have it. We're not allowed.
I have a license to carry firearms, and that makes it legal to open carry.
Hey, Danny, just give me back up here.
Sir, calm down. I'm not going to argue with you.
Going.
I'm explaining to you what...
I'm going right in you. All right? I know who you are. Do you know you can't openly carry here in Philadelphia?
Yes, you can if you have a license to carry firearms, which I'd be... It's Directive 137, officer. It's your own internal directive.
Right now. I don't know who you are.
Okay.
All right, you're walking around here, and you're going to give me lip?
I'm not giving you lip, officer. Officer, what's your name?
All right, my name is Sergeant Doherty.
Sergeant Doherty. My name is Mark Fiorino.
All right, then we're going to get this straightened out.
Excellent.
All right, now later on in this tape, you hear, and by the way, I'm already getting emails from people saying this is available online. We will post the link to it on our website at larslarson.com. But Mark, I noticed, and I applaud you, that all the way through, you've got the officer and other officers swearing up a storm. The F-bomb dropped left and right. You consistently treat the officers politely. You called him by his name and rank. You did all that. You cite a directive that's within the Philadelphia Police Department. He should have, at that point, I think, said, hey, this guy sounds like maybe he knows what he's talking about, and maybe just had a nice conversation with you and let you go on your way. But that's not the way it worked out, is it?
Not at all. And as a matter of fact, like I said, the state law here in Pennsylvania says that that it is required for you to have a license to carry while you're in the city, and therefore, I don't really have a problem stopping and taking out my LTCF and saying, here it is, this is why it's legal for me to do this. Call it in, check it, whatever, I'll be on my way in 5 minutes. But to be greeted with lethal, I didn't even have the time to turn around and address the officer after he called me Junior. I literally turned to my left 90 degrees, and here's a Glock pointed at my chest.
Wow.
Didn't even have an opportunity to say. And then
he demanded that you get on your knees, and you ended up complying with that. Then as soon as the Code 3 response, the lights and siren units that were coming, got there, then at that point he started shouting at you to get down on your face. Was there anything you'd done that provoked that?
Well, I was carrying a gun.
No, but other than that, something new, because up to that point it sounds like he wasn't demanding that you get on your face till the other cops were arriving.
Well, the issue that I wound up running up against is, you see this sometimes on TV or in movies where a police officer yells at a suspect or a subject, don't move, get on your knees. And here, 15 seconds prior to him telling me to get on my knees, he goes, if you make a move, I'm going to effing shoot you.
Yeah.
And, okay, what am I supposed to comply with at this point? One where I get on my knees in front of a man who I know is violating my rights. I'm supposed to bow down to him because he has the power of the state behind him, or should I obey the don't move, or else I'm going to have my life taken from me.
Well, the police should have paid attention to the rules. They should know their own rules. And, Mark, I'm glad we've posted a number of things up there on our website, including the link to the entire audio of the entire interaction. And as far as I'm concerned, I know, Mark, that there are people who say, well, he was looking to set this up. He was looking for a confrontation. Knowing that you had been stopped a number of other times by officers who knew the law, who stopped you, did a courtesy check, and moved on and let you go on about your business, I can understand why you took steps to protect yourself from the police with the recorder, the same way you took steps to protect yourself with the pistol. At this point, is the case over, or are they still trying to prosecute you for something?
Right now, the charges for reckless endangerment of another person and disorderly conduct are still being processed. I actually have a court date coming up in July that I have to defend myself against those charges at, and we'll have to see what happens from there.
Even though if people take a listen to the entire audio, they will hear that, as far as I can tell, you complied with everything they asked you to do, and you treated everybody politely, and you had never at any time threatened to hurt anybody. So, Mark, thanks for coming on the program. We'll stay in touch. Will you let us know as new developments happen?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time. And if you don't mind, can I give a quick shout-out?
Please do.
I'd like to, real quickly, this is a great audience to do this for. I wanted to give a big thanks to everybody at the Pennsylvania Firearm Owners Association, PAFOA.org, as well as the folks, anybody who has sent a message or said something on Facebook or on any of the forums, Firearm Owners Against Crime organization, that have been supporting me through this and helping to kind of help me keep my head screwed on tightly while dealing with all the stress of this situation.
Good luck as you go forward, Mark. Both of us believe in the Second Amendment. You betcha. Back in a moment with Mark Thiessen from the Washington Post. You got the Lars Larson Show.
Lars